The word of the week is polarization. Welcome to Kenneth O'Neal's Word of the Week. Each week, Kenneth will discuss a word which describes a principle or value of the qualities of success. Use the word of the week in your thoughts, deeds, and actions. You can replace a good habit with a bad habit. You can use it as an action step. Kenneth O'Neal will bring you a word of the week each week, and it will help you to improve your life, your relationships, your professional career, and your overall well-being. I know you'll enjoy Word of the Week with Kenneth O'Neal. Kenneth O'Neal is a certified Zig Ziglar trainer and the head of O'Neal Consulting in Kerrville, Texas. And now, Kenneth O'Neal.
This is Misty Dawn, and I have Kenneth O'Neal here in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
It must be Monday.
It is Monday because I have my coffee with me. Is that why you think so? Or because you're here?
Oh, because we're here, right. Yes, we're here.
Good.
And we're here for the word for the week. It's the beginning of the week. We suggest people write the word down,
Yes.
use it in their language, in their conversations, make a note of it. And
Wonderful. I did that a lot last week.
You did? Okay.
Yes, I was walking with my uncle talking about it, and it was great.
Thank you for carrying that on. That's wonderful. Today's word it's really very close to my heart because of my interest in effective communication.
Okay.
So the word for the week is polarization. I know it's a long word, but everybody's ears probably perked up when they heard that.
It's a good Scrabble word, right? Lots of letters.
You get lots of letters. It's got a Z in it.
Ooh, that'd be more
that's
points,
even
right?
Better, more points. So it's the word for the week, and it is a division of people, of groups, or ideas. And usually the contrast is very sharp because we appear to be on opposing sides. And most of the time there's very little room for the middle of the road positions or the agreement. You know, we live in this binary world. It's black or white. We don't get into the gray very much.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people say it's my way or the highway.
Yes,
very rigid.
Yeah.
But in reality, we need to be in the gray. So as I always do when we're working on these words, I go back and check for the origination of the word, the etymology, and where it came from.
Nice.
Of course, it's a Latin word.
Okay.
And it originally started out only in physics, describing light waves, polarized. Have you heard about these? Some sunglasses, polarized sunglasses.
Polarized, yes,
and that's supposed to be better for you.
Yeah.
Right? So it evolved from the early stages of science to society, talking about physical alignment, and of course then we come to human division. Now, in the world, we have had at least, and there's probably a whole lot more that I did not uncover, but 4 historical examples of polarization. And this will show, if people will look back at the history, you might begin to understand why we have such great division today.
Okay.
The first one was the Protestant Reformation. And it started in the 1500s.
Okay.
The 1500s. Of course, that then came up with the division of Protestant versus Catholic, and we won't go through all the details there.
Sure, but that's
then
starting point. Nice.
We had the American Civil War came along. Okay, those for slavery, those against. And of course, that was in the 1860s. And then, amazingly, the Cold War, which was from 1947 up until the early 1990s, like 1991, 92, and that Cold War ended with the fall of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big one is the one that we have today in the current United States political arena. All right?
Yeah.
Now, when we look at things, we always try to look at the positivity and then look at the negativity. So the positive aspects of polarization is clarifies people's convictions, and it forces us to think about our own beliefs. It energizes engagement, reform, and reveals our moral compass in these social tensions. And it can actually, if you look at it from a positive standpoint, it can push through to debate where we have conversations, each one on their own side.
Spark
But
conversation.
the word debate actually has a little bit of a negative tone to it.
It does.
Negative,
Even starts D,
debate.
like we're going to D something.
Yeah. There's a good D word, though, to replace that word
good.
debate. And it's dialogue.
Nice,
Dialogue,
nice.
positive
Yes, that
dialogue.
is a very positive, yeah.
So the negative aspects of polarization destroys trust. It hinders that open dialogue and weakens the governance or the corporation that we're looking for. You know, we talk a great deal about effective communication, but we also talk a lot about leadership. And in times of this polarization, the role of the leader is not to pick a position, but to build a bridge. Build a bridge. There's a major gap in where we stand. You know, we're so limited with the time that we go through, so I just want to quickly, because this is worthy of maybe talking about 2 weeks or something, or maybe even a whole month.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I just want to quickly go over. See, we're in an era of where we're having purposeful, people are doing this deliberately, of polarization.
Okay.
And we should be working on what is the opposite of that, which is, from a binary standpoint, purposeful unity. And so let's just look at it. What does polarization versus unity in 4 different areas? What is the goal? All right. Polarization, they're looking for control and conformity. Control and conformity. Where in unity, we're looking, or the people, with unity are looking for connection and collaboration. All right. Then what are the emotions that are used in these 2 different areas? The polarization, there's fear, anger, and outrage. And from a unity standpoint, those people are looking for hope, empathy, and respect. What about the language?
Changes, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
People for polarization, they say, and they'll be pointing at you, they are the enemy. That's their language.
They. Us and they.
But in the unity, those people are saying, we have common ground. We have common ground, looking for the commonality. But then what are the results? We talked about the positive and we talked about the negative, but under purposeful polarization, boy, you try to say
that 5 times fast.
The result. So you got division.
Yes.
A lot of division.
Yes.
A lot of mistrust. A lot of confusion and chaos. And then over in the unity side, we have progress, peace, and purpose.
I like
So you
that
can
alliteration.
Yeah. I love alliteration. I just think it's great.
Peace and purpose.
So the
Nice.
virtues that connect in this would be integrity. You stand firm in truth and do not condemn other people. We talk about, let's don't play the blame game. Don't play that drama triangle. We're looking for wisdom, knowing when to speak, when to listen, and when to seek common ground. And then lastly is being bold and courageous. And the scriptures talk about this. We need to confront the conflict with grace without hostility. And so a leader can heal this division by modeling clarity, compassion, and the courage. And real quickly, I wrote something, and I'm just going to give you the words for it because I dislike this when we get up against the time. So I call it the Conversation Covenant.
Okay.
Now remember, I've got this book in manuscript, and I'm trying to get it published first part of next year.
Nice.
All right. And so I keep wondering, why can't we have conversations with people we disagree with?
That dialogue you spoke
That
of.
dialogue we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Why can we not have it? And so I've come down to this, and by studying this word, polarization, and studying it, looking at the etymology of the word, where it all began. I mean, in the 1500s, they had this major gap, this major disagreement over the Catholic Church, all right?
Point one.
So what we have to do in having this dialogue, having a conversation, having effective communication, we must create an atmosphere of kindness, care, and concern. So we have to start with what's in our heart. We got to speak from the heart, which means speaking truth and speaking love. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a
You've heard
good
that.
phrase, yeah.
And then we have a problem. We need to seek to understand, not to be understood. We want to understand, and the only way we can do that is to have effective conversations. We need to replace judgment with curiosity. We've lost a lot of that. Little children, they have it. They still have it. What am I missing here? That's the curiosity. Am I missing? Then we need to separate the person from the position. You can actually reject an idea without throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Without rejecting the person.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You got it. The person, the individual. And then, we need people, they remember stories. So they reach the heart, especially if we're speaking from the heart. So we want to make sure that around our personal experiences, we share those beliefs. In other words, I call them walking out the major virtues. We talked about them: kindness, being concerned, being care for other people. And then look at the value of what we're doing over correction. In other words, don't try to beat somebody up. Because when you're trying to correct people, you become a sense of apathy, really. So you want to seek some balance. That's what we're looking for here.
Understand.
And then the big thing is every conversation, every time we have a conversation, making sure that we have permission to talk with them, but leave them with hope. Zig Ziglar said, always look for the good. Look for the good.
Yeah.
Look for the rainbow.
There you go.
Always look for it. But always protect yourself by, covering the risk. In other words, that's why we buy car insurance or we have a spare tire.
Yeah.
Cover the risk. All right. But then you have to be accountable to what you're doing. And you want to look for all the opportunities of creating that atmosphere of being kind, being considerate, and valuing people, valuing the worth of from where people came, and valuing that and as to who they are. Because you can disagree with somebody and still love and care for them.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you might not have to, don't deal with them all the time. You might just end up having to walk away because some people are in some very toxic relationships.
Yeah.
So they just need to walk away because we want to guard our mental input. And we're only going to change over the next 5 years by the books we read and by the people we associate with. So you want to be around positive thinking people that are curious, people that are concerned about other people, and create this dialogue instead of having a debate. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a much more positive perspective on that, dialogue versus debate. Yeah, thank you, Kenneth. And if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Just give me a call, 830-285-7010. I'd love to hear from you. We can get together for coffee or just talk over the phone.
There you go.
And they can merger, MERGER, at windstream.net in the Texas Hill Country.
Nice.
Weather's beautiful today.
It is wonderful.
Thank you
wonderful.
for showing up.
Thank
Appreciate
you, Kenneth.
you.
Appreciate you.
This is Tom Fox. I'm a co-founder of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast and you would like to talk to us about getting your own podcast on the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network, we'd love to talk to you. So you can reach us at our website, through our website, the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. Word of the Week with Kenneth O'Neal is our latest podcast, and we will present Kenneth's word each week going forward. They will be insightful, they will be useful, they will be important, and can be a significant increase of all aspects of your life going forward. I hope you'll subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much for listening.